I'm Chris Siegel, President of the Association of Cannabis Professionals. As you can probably see already, I'm not the greatest public speaker, but I am passionate about something. And if you are passionate about something, it makes things much easier. In this case, it's cannabis. I started my career in cannabis, selling some weed to friends, eventually growing it, smuggling it. At that time, I was providing it to people for pleasure, or to simply just get high. As time went on, I discovered that it could be a medicine to help people. So I packed up and I moved to Colorado in 2008 to learn the licensed medical system. I encountered sick children, veterans, and many different kinds of people that cannabis was helping. At that point, I felt like I found my complete purpose for being in the cannabis industry. If you're trying to heal or simply get high, you should have cannabis that is fully tested and meets the highest standards, no matter who you are or where you're from. To sum it up, it's about the end user for me. The ACP has the same vision and shares the same standards. That's why I'm here. Enough about boring me. I'd like to welcome our new ACP members. I'd like to start with Aaron Phillips. Aaron is a new board member. She's back there. Aaron, raise your hand. Joined us from the Colorado market, owning over a half a dozen retail centers, cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, consulting, and basically doing everything the industry has to offer. She's here to share her passion and her experience to help to grow the cannabis community in San Diego. And in the great state of California. Let's give a big round of applause to Aaron Phillips. Now I'd like to welcome some of our new members, which I don't have that list. Jarrett? Because we do have some new members that joined. Thank you, Jarrett. So I hope I don't butcher these names, because again, I'm not a good public speaker. We have Alfonso Hernandez. Are you here, Mr. Hernandez? Welcome. We have Andrew Harrison. Are you here, Andrew? Welcome. We have Kristen Kushrial.
Okay.
I'm sorry, how do you pronounce that? Kuzreichel. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we have Marcus Jordan. Welcome, Marcus. And we have Joe Casey, which I know really well. He should be trickling in. He's a great cultivator and very passionate. To sum it all up, everyone in this room is the future of cannabis in San Diego and in general. We should be privileged to have each other and every one of you as members of the ACP. Please talk to Jarrett. Jarrett, raise your hand one more time. To go over ACP membership opportunities. Thanks, everyone, and go cannabis. Oh, and this is Sonara Vasquez. She has been a leader in the industry. She's the author of the La Mesa and Lemon Grove Initiative, and she's been here pushing hard. She's all about humanity and people's rights. She's really pushed for cannabis all throughout the county. So make sure we give her a big round of applause, please.
Thank you, Chris. For those people who don't know me, my name is Sonara Velasquez, and I'm here tonight filling in for Dallin Young, who's the Executive Director. I'm the past Executive Director. And if you're interested in knowing why I'm filling in for Dallin, he's down there on a white horse, riding into Imperial Beach to be that cannabis cowboy savior that we well know he is. So he's down there at the Imperial Beach City Council meeting, and I'm filling in here tonight. So, yeah, we wanted to thank our sponsor, BLY CPA and Cannabis Real Estate Consulting, who are sponsoring this meeting. So thank you, and thank you for Andrea's Restaurant Andres Restaurant for the space. The next thing up is the legislative update. So that goes to Imperial Beach. So it's been an interesting time. The state's coming along. They're issuing licenses, sometimes not issuing them fast enough. So we've had a wide range of experiences with the state licensing. There's been people who get their licenses back very quickly, and then there's people who get trapped in bureaucracy. And it's getting there. But the list of licensees you see today, and I guess this is my point, is not the complete list because there's still a lot of people in process. A lot of people, especially on the cultivation side. So if you're pulling up that state licensing website, it's still not there. And that's a problem because right now, if you're a licensed dispensary, you have to buy from a state licensed source. And if the state hasn't gotten around to issuing that license to the source, these are businesses that are now spending, we're going on month 2 in limbo. So the state's doing the best it can, but there have been bureaucratic hiccups. We've seen applications get rejected for very, very minor issues like the suite number doesn't match, things like that. So, it's happening. We have some other things going on locally. In the city of San Diego, they're continuing to process the production facilities permits. In the city of La Mesa, they had the first hearing, finally, on a dispensary application for the city of La Mesa. That's after their CUP process. This is the first person to have reached the end of that line. So this is the first one to actually be considered to open up a dispensary. It's on Center Street. So we're very proud of Sean. Sean also was the first person to get to his approval in Lemon Grove. So Sean's doing pretty good at this game. And so we look forward to him opening, and that's in La Mesa. He's still got a few more steps to go. This isn't the end of the line, but he was the first one to actually get a hearing. After this, he's still got to do his building permits and his build out. So we're looking at maybe another 5 months before we see an open dispensary in La Mesa. In the city of Lemon Grove, I also mentioned Sean was the first to get his approval, so again, go Sean. But we're still not there yet either. He's still got to do all of his building permits, as have the other 3 people that, is it 2 or 3? It's 3 people that have been accepted by the city of Lemon Grove. So we have a potential to have 4 dispensaries in the city of Lemon Grove, so that's going along nicely. We are also pushing in other jurisdictions, city of Chula Vista. We ran an initiative there, gathered 130, how many did we gather? We gathered 20,000 signatures. I was thinking of dollars. So we gathered all these signatures. It came down to last minute negotiating with the city, and the city agreed to push forward with something on their own. So we're putting our faith in the city. We'll see how that goes. That's the city of Chula Vista. And in Imperial Beach, I mentioned that Dallin is down there tonight. That's been an interesting back and forth with the city there. So we still don't know if we're going to be doing that by initiative or if that's going to go through the city council in Imperial Beach. But we're certainly keeping our options open to running more initiatives in other places. We did have success in that in Lemon Grove and La Mesa before. And so, we'll hear more about that as future efforts of that start, because at this point we'd be looking to get them on the general ballot. And we're going to keep negotiating with cities. Oceanside is moving forward with their own initiative, and they're doing a great job. And another group that isn't affiliated with us has run an initiative in Vista, and that's going to be on the November ballot. So there's a lot of local activity happening, a lot happening at the state as well. And La Mesa had a vote. Do they just have? No, next week they're having a vote on whether or not to tax cannabis businesses. Normally, people don't like to be taxed, but in this industry, you can tax adult use at a much higher rate. So we actually kind of encourage those tax, because right now they don't allow adult use in the city of Mesa. So we'd like them to allow adult use, and if a tax is a way to get there, that might not be a bad thing. So does anyone have any questions on the legislative update? In the back?
Yeah, I've heard a lot about, especially in the cultivation side, that there's a lot of, and I don't know if you've seen the same thing, but you guys have a better finger on the pulse of it, but that there's a lot of challenges being thrown down by other cultivators.
Oh, yeah.
That it's within the industry,
Yes.
that they're getting the hardest fights.
Yes.
Because of the competition.
Yeah.
It's very short-sighted, but is that what you're finding too?
Well, the California Growers Association is suing the state. So that right there is a big conflict. And the reason is the state had originally said, and Prop 64 had originally said, that there would be no large-scale farms until 2020. The state has since changed their mind, and I'm not entirely sure how they justified that under Prop 64, because I thought it was fairly clear. So the California Growers Association is suing the state on that ground. That doesn't mean we're not going to keep pushing for licenses, especially here locally from the state, because I think 2 have been issued at this point in San Diego, and we've got more licensed locally than 2. We've got about 8 locally licensed grows. So, you know, we're going to keep pushing to get those guys licensed so we have a local supply chain, regardless of this bigger battle going on in the state. Our guys aren't growing over 200 acres or 20 acres, so you know, it's kind of irrelevant to us. This is a fight over whether or not the Central Valley farmers get to have a piece of that, because they're the only ones that would have those large-scale farms. And, you know, out in El Centro and other places. Here, most of our grows are smaller and indoors. So we're watching it, but it's not really something that's affecting the local growers market.
Are you finding it within the dispensaries? That dispensaries are challenging the applications of other competitors?
Oh, that's always happened. The question was, are dispensaries challenging the applications of other competitors? You know, anytime a city sets up a system where you have a cap, only a certain number of people will be accepted. There's going to be somebody who worked their butt off, did everything right, put $100,000 into their application and got rejected. So those challenges are always going to happen in every jurisdiction. I wish this business was like any other business and it was an open market where you didn't have a cap. But because you have a cap, someone's going to get left out. And so that happens in every jurisdiction, every city. Someone is always trying to be that last one in, and they're going against the other guy. So.
More of a licensing question for a friend. Does having an alcohol seller's permit, or for a bar, a license, does that preclude you from applying for a cannabis?
No, it does not. That's something that came up recently in the city of Chula Vista. It does not preclude you from doing that. It could, if people were kind of reading it that way, but what the state is saying is you can't operate under that same license. You as a person can be part of 2 different organizations, one of which has an alcohol license and one of which has a cannabis license. The organization that holds the alcohol license cannot also hold the cannabis license. So if the alcohol license is issued to you, not an organization, you can't get a cannabis license. But as long as the alcohol license is listed to a corporation, which I believe 99.9% are for tax reasons, there's no problem with you sitting on the board of an alcohol corporation and sitting on the board of a cannabis corporation. So it's a bit confusing, but that's the law.
So along this, what he was saying, can that be attached to the same address though, the licenses?
And no, you cannot have it at the same premise. So the premises have to be physically separate. And there's lots of local rules about what the premise can be anyways, and you know, it's frustrating to me. I'm an OB. You can open up a brewery on any corner. You can't open up a cannabis except for, 6 locations in a district. It's much more exclusive, and no, it's not the same premise. The cannabis premise has to be exclusively for cannabis use from the state of California, and it has to be exclusively for manufacturing, cultivation, or a dispensary on separate premises. So, okay. Well, without further ado, I want to pass the mic over to Dion. He's one of our board members, and he's going to talk about our exciting upcoming events because there's a lot happening. This is cannabis season as we head towards April.
Thanks for coming. My name's Dion Martraff. I've been a long-time cannabis advocate here. Opened the first dispensary here in San Diego in '97. Been doing all kinds of stuff. I'm really proud of this organization taking the lead here, business-wise, and helping us work together because it facilitates our business and helps us grow as a community and take over certain aspects of society that need changing. And so we've been slowly but surely having events, but now we're starting to partner up with other events. And last year we had great success doing one of my lifelong goals of bringing the cannabis industry and the ecological industry together, because as most of us know, that cannabis and hemp is the best solution to almost all our environmental problems. So last year we did the Cannabis Village and Earth Day. This was our sign from last year, the main stage. And we're doing it again this year. And we're much better prepared, but still have a lot of work to do. So we have a big section of the park. Earth Day attracts 60 to 80,000 people every year. It's the longest Earth Day, largest free environmental fair in the world. And it's really a great event here in San Diego over the years, but hopefully we're going to help bring more and more information to their people and also broaden the awareness of the cannabis industry on ecological solutions and practices. So we have a lot of stars coming. Dolores Huerta is one of the ones I'm most proud of. She helped start the Farm Workers Union with Cesar Chavez, one of the most famous unknown people in American history. She's 88 years old and using CBD for sciatica. We have Ed Rosenthal's coming, political speakers like Genevieve Jones-Wright, who's running in the district attorney, for district attorney, which is a big thing here in San Diego. We had Kyle Turley's coming, an NFL football player who's in the Hall of Fame from San Diego State, who is now a big advocate for cannabinoids for CTE and health purposes. We haven't announced it yet, but we believe that we have Ricky Williams coming, who won the Heisman Trophy and is very famous cannabis career, I guess you could say. He was the guy who was kicked out of the NFL for marijuana, but forced to go back when they wanted him to pay the money back for his bonus. So, and then today, hopefully, we connected with our main musical entertainer, who's going to be Willie Nelson's son, Lucas Nelson, who's super famous and up-and-coming star. And him and his band, basically, they are Neil Young's band. So they've been touring the world, and he's a big advocate for cannabis, has some cannabis songs. So we're really excited to have him. And so we're hoping through him, we're going to have some, at least, maybe like a video message or something from Neil Young and Willie Nelson. So we're really trying to push the ball, and the main focus, as I said, is on the cannabis for environmental solutions. And we have these brochures that you can see that are back there, and we're promoting hemp for construction, cannabis clothing like I have. Our t-shirt for the events on hemp, and this year we're going to be featuring also hemp plastic. There's a hemp plastic packaging company that will be there. So really a lot of exciting things. And before I mention our other events, I wanted to bring up Carolyn Chase, who's actually the founder of San Diego Earth Day. So I'll give her a round of applause. She wants to definitely a hero in our community. Say a few words about how you can help, not only with the Cannabis Village with volunteers, but other activities and stuff for that day.
Yes, how many of you have been to the Earth Fair before? Okay, well, it's happening again, hopefully. I brought tonight some posters and flyers of different sizes. We have large ones, we have tabletop ones. If you have a retail location, if you could see fit to take some and put them out, we need to recruit another 300 volunteers in the next 9.5 weeks, and we need your help getting the word out. In addition to registering for Cannabis Village through the ACP, I hope you will all like to have a table there. And I just want to say I have been researching recently sustainability and reading all the regulations, and y'all are the most over-regulated industry in the world. And not only are they just simply overlaying the various state regulations on top of you, then they're adding little bonus things on top just for the fun of it, I think. So I guess that's my way of saying it's really critically important to keep up a public presence, working with the community, educating people who aren't involved with what you're doing, but who are worried about it. Because we just had a call from the police department yesterday, telling me, well, y'all didn't tell us you were doing this cannabis thing again this year. And the scary thing about this was I had been in a meeting with this officer 2 weeks ago with 10 witnesses of the city of San Diego when I told them we were doing the same thing as last year, Cannabis Village. So I get this call, and we managed to work it out with some of Dallon's help as well. And plus, we have a pretty good relationship with the city over the years, more or less. But we got a new police chief, so I'm quite concerned about that because we're not sure where the complaint came from. You don't get a call like this out of the blue for no reason. So we're trying to help track down the complaints, but y'all, I'm sure you're already aware that the police are reading everything you're doing. You know, they're subscribing to your magazines, they have like more interest in you now in some ways. So, you know, obviously compliance is important, but making the connection with the community to show that we're not crazy and we're not falling over and we're not, you know, all the things that the prejudiced people think that we are or could be, you know, we need to be out there showing that we're doing the right things. And you wouldn't believe how quickly I was able to write the most wonderful kiss-outs email to the police, which said, "Thank you so much for calling to check in about compliance of Cannabis Village, ... Well, I've been able to get permits for 28 years in the city, and you don't do that without understanding how the system works and how to talk to people. So anyway, and I also I'm doing a feature. We do a program guide with advertising. If anyone want to advertise, let me know. That's in addition to the booth and table. But I'm doing a feature on the issues of sustainability cannabis, and I'm reviewing all the stuff from Colorado, Washington, California. You know, it's all chaos right now because of all the business building that's going on. And there's a lot of work to do, and having all these compliance things on top of you, they're not really environmentally oriented, even the ones that are regulating the environment. So hopefully we can do some work on that. I talked to Dallin about maybe doing a presentation in a couple months after Earth Day. So hopefully I'll see you all at Earth Day. Please help me get some volunteers. If you need more flyers, please call our office or email me. Our website, I hope it's on here. Thanks, everyone. Thanks. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Carolyn, for being open and understanding and incorporating us. You have a...
Yeah, Dean, I just want to add, the roster of potential speakers, we're still working on Cheech of Cheech and Chong, and NBA and college grade Bill Walton, so they're still pending, but they'll be additions.
Just so you know, the city wanted to know by March 1st, any high test people like that.
Okay.
FYI.
I'm over here.
Sorry.
So anyways, great. So, yeah, so this is a perfect example of where, like, this organization and our activities, you know, working together, that we can raise the bar for everybody, you know. So, you know, this is a perfect example, and the village is, you know, that perfect metaphor of, you know, everyone putting in a little, we could build something awesome to help educate our community and make things better. And so another example is that we're going to do Pride again this year. We were in the parade with the Hemp House and Dr. Bronner's last year. And this year we're going to do a little bit more and have our own area in the after party. So we're, you know, that's how this organization stays active and is trying to, you know, push the ball forward. So there's flyers in the back. Take one. You know, if you may know someone who would be interested in having the booth or participating or volunteering. Yeah, we need those kind of things. And, you know, we're going to have a whole array of stuff from art contests to yoga to all kinds of things. So we're open for ideas and activities. If you know, have some creative friends that want to be involved, let us know. And yeah, I'm very excited about it, and I think it's going to be an awesome event. I don't know if there's any questions or comments about anyone. All right. Well, thank you.
if you want to get in front of lots and lots and lots of people, that you sign up to be a part of Earth Day. It is huge, it is amazing. You can see from those sponsor lists up there, it was giant last year, and it's going to be even bigger this year. And the Pride also was amazing. We were right behind Dr. Bronner's foam fire truck, and there was a guy up on top of that foam fire truck. I'm not sure what he was doing, but he was blowing my mind. It was really incredible, and we're going to do bigger and better this year around. So everybody who participated last year, they're going to be getting a booth again because it was a very successful event. Okay, so next up, we have some candidates that are running for city council that would like to come and speak. This is pretty important because the two candidates, actually, do I see Fayez here? Did you make it? Okay, well, we just have Jen. Well, at any rate, Fayez Nawabi and Jen Campbell are running for 2 seats that have not historically been very cannabis friendly. Our local representative here in District 2, District 2 encompasses Pacific Beach, Ocean Beach, this area, all of these places that are some of the most cannabis-friendly neighborhoods in all of San Diego has been very anti-cannabis for an entire term. So we are happy to hear from people that are running against Lori Zapp, and we have Jen Campbell here today, and she would like to say a few words.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Jennifer Campbell, MD. Yes, I am a physician. I fully retired about a month ago. I started running for this office in September, and my goal is to retire Lori Zapp, a Trump Republican who is anti-cannabis. And so you know that I am pro-cannabis. I am a physician. I have studied the medical literature, and I'm telling you that cannabis is a good thing and that more research needs to be done. Good research. And by making recreational marijuana legal also, I think that we'll be able to move along a little faster in that direction. And I think that making recreational marijuana legal is an excellent thing for our society in many, many ways. For one, the ecological aspect of it, the environmental, it's a green product, and also it will bring green to the city coffers. And I think that's why the City of San Diego Council has been so good, ahead of a lot of cities in the rest of the state. The New York Times said San Diego was ahead of every other city in California, which is kind of scary, but.
We work hard.
Yes, you guys work hard, and thank God for you, because you can help guide people like me so that we can make sure that we get rid of red tape, we get rid of bureaucracy in the way, and we continue to help this new industry to flourish and to be strong here for us. And I thank you for everything that you're doing. And I want you to know that I'm on your side, and I hope that I get there and I can help you legislatively with the city. I don't want to bore you, I don't want to talk too long, but to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been active in politics all my life. I grew up in a very active political family. My dad was a machinist, my mother was a force of nature. She was so good politically that people from all over the country would call her for advice, including John Kennedy. And John Kennedy once gave this advice: don't ever run for an office unless you're going to win it. So this is the first time I've ever run for an office, but I've been active in politics for many years. But looking at the numbers, it's all numbers. We need you to vote June 5th. If you know anyone who lives in District 2, and I'm sure you do, it's all the beach communities except La Jolla. We need you to remind them, you go vote on June 5th in that primary, and you vote for Dr. Jen. She's going to help us. And I am. I'm going to do everything I can. I moved here 14 years ago from Pittsburgh. Well, I lived in Pittsburgh. Yay, Pittsburgh.
How you doing?
Hey, Yins are doing great. Cheat yet? You know what that means? They know. That means, did you eat yet? So we have our own language downtown, yeah, to see the Stillers, yeah. So anyway, I have a spine of steel because I lived 35 years in Pittsburgh. It's where I went to medical school, it's where I practiced. Here in San Diego, I've been a teacher of integrative medicine. I also am an acupuncturist and also board in holistic medicine as well as family medicine. So that's what I do. I believe that we need all things, all ways to lead a healthy and happy life and peaceful life. So I thank you for your support. I hope you'll tell everybody you know in District 2, vote for Dr. Jen, and you will have a good representative on that council. Yeah. Thank you.
I think we have time for one or two questions for Jen, since our other speaker didn't show. So, does anyone have a question for her? Okay. Well, if not, we don't mind moving the meeting a little faster.
Okay, I just want to tell you one thing. Our district, District 2, was the second largest vote for legalizing recreational marijuana in the city. Our district is definitely a left-leaning district. We voted 30% Trump, 70% Hillary. In the primary, we voted Bernie. So I'm telling you, our district needs a representative who represents it. And Lori Zapp is the exact opposite of what we need.
So, just so you know, right now we're just giving, oh, we do have a question. Okay, Joe.
Just want to describe the geography of the district for the benefit of some who may not know what District 2 is.
Okay. You want to describe the geography?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, District 2 is from the north part of PB all the way down to Harbor Drive and San Diego Bay. Takes in the airport, takes in the western part of Linda Vista, and all the beaches except La Jolla. So it's big. It's big, and it's got a lot of stuff going on.
And Claremont.
And western Claremont, yeah, Mission Beach area, yeah.
Just a question, Dr. Jen. So the city council voted to allow 40 manufacturing production facilities, marijuana production facilities. Do you think, if you were on the council, do you think that that is enough? Do you think there should be more? And how would you have voted on that proposal to allow 40 in the city if you were on the council last year?
Yeah, I think we need to probably open up and do more. I really haven't studied in depth these issues as yet, because I'm not there yet, and I haven't had to vote on these yet. But I really believe that this is a wonderful opportunity to grow a new industry that's only going to be a win-win for everybody involved. And so I'm there to champion the cause, and I'll be there to help in any way I can. And I'm so glad you're so organized, because I will need guidance. Yes?
Does your district include Imperial Beach?
No, Imperial Beach is way south, so it doesn't, I'm sorry. I should have said all the beaches, should I? Doesn't include Ocean Beach either. Yeah, I mean, it does include Ocean Beach, but not Oceanside. Yes, Joe?
Something about your political activism, and I know you're active with the county Democrats, and what have you done politically since you arrived here?
Okay, I have a handout about that. I have a 3-page handout that we'll pass around. The last page of it gives all my political activity. But I've been active in the state party as well as the local county party, and also active in helping many of the candidates. So I have over 22 endorsements, many of them from our elected officials that we like Scott Peters and Tony Atkins, Todd Gloria, and 22 of them. And so why do they endorse me? Because they know, first of all, we have to win. There's no use endorsing somebody who's not going to win. We have to win this election, and they know that I know how to win. And when I first thought about running for this, I called my cousin David Axelrod, who was also trained by my famous mother. And I said, here's the numbers, what do you think? Should I do this? Because I had lost the path of politics in my 20s, went to med school, was a single mom, I had 2 kids. Now I'm a grandma with 9 grandchildren, 2 great-grandsons. See, I started early. So I think, I think they're backing me because they know that I can win. So that's what we want to do. We want to win. We want to bring some progress to this city. We've got to get our heads out of the sand. This is a new century, and we need to do new things and think in new ways. Yes?
And is there somewhere on your website if people want to find out other places where you're going to be appearing or events, things like that, to find out more information, engage with you?
Thank you. Yes, there is an events tab at the website. The website is drjen2018.com, drjen2018.com. And there is an events tab, and we're trying to list everything there. Okay, thank you so much.
And just so everyone knows, right now we're giving a few minutes to the candidates, but we are going to be asking them a detailed endorsement questions. We are going to be coming back and asking them, because this It is about you getting to know the candidates, but it's also about the candidates getting to know us and our issues. So, you know, we need you to ask some specific questions. We'll be doing an endorsement process, an endorsement guide, and seeing where they really fall on the micro issues that make all the difference on zoning, on public safety, and on all those great things. So, without further ado, our main speaker is Rick Payne of Cannabis Real Estate Consulting, here to talk about cannabis real estate, because the first thing I tell everybody is, when they say, I want to get a license, is, so do you have a building? So here we go.
Thank you, Sonara. My name is Rick Payne. I'm with Cannabis Real Estate Consultants, and we are a commercial real estate group focused on finding nothing but legally compliant and licensable cannabis properties throughout various municipalities in the state. We have been in the cannabis space for a couple years now, and we've been involved in various aspects of the industry. Most recently, we started a platform where we could offer opportunities and provide information to interested parties, whether they be buyers, tenants, sellers, landlords, investors, anyone interested in essentially entering the cannabis space, which, like Sonara said, starts with the real estate. We have been doing this long enough to where we've realized that there's a difference between a website that says, hey, you can grow in my grandma's basement, versus, hey, you know, this is a legally licensable property that you're going to get a license from. We started back in 2016, but we officially went live with our website back on November 25th. And with the good luck and hard work of the group that we've built, we are now ranking #1 on Google nationally for over 40 different cannabis-related real estate search terms. Our deal flow has gone from, you know, decent to insane, to where now we're referring deals out for licensed properties in Alaska, Oregon, Nevada, all over the U.S. So we've kind of breached that, or bridged that gap where, you know, a lot of people were starting out working with attorneys, working with consultants, but they really didn't have a way to find licensable opportunities. And so what we do is we start from A to Z, and we take someone that says, hey, you know, I want to open up a cultivation in Santa Ana, and we say, okay, well, you know, we take that first step and we finish with saying, here's 5 or 6 different locations that are eligible based off the zoning, based off the guidelines and the regulations, sensitive use setbacks, etc. And so in that, we've been able to attract a lot of attention and represent some of the more capitalized and experienced operators, investors, and property owners throughout the state. We currently have, I think, over 20 listings on our website for various opportunities throughout California, ranging all the way from a 163-acre farm up in Humboldt down to opportunities throughout San Diego County and everywhere in between. That's essentially what we've been doing and what we are continuing to focus on, and that's essentially it.
Yeah, 2 questions. One, what's the name of the site?
www.cannabisrealestateconsultants.com.
Are you local or from somewhere else?
We're actually based in San Diego.
Okay, because I'm wondering, I live down in the Hillcrest area, and I know there's not many churches or schools around there, and I'm wondering why no one has, as far as I know yet, maybe there's some licenses in process, but why no one's opened up a retail space?
That's District 3, and District 3 is a little bit tricky. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tricky. Based off the zoning that the city set forth, D3's kind of got a de facto ban in place unless you are really creative, which some people have managed to be. So, yeah. But,
What's your fee structure for your services?
our fee structure varies. I mean, it depends on whether we're representing a landlord, a seller, a buyer, a tenant, an investor. I mean, we really have 5 main client types that we work with. So, more than happy to share information after. All right, that is it. Well, definitely check us out.
Question about your advertising on Google. Is this all organic, or are you guys paying for the paid traffic?
We're organic, so we've actually been focusing on, we've brought in some really talented and amazing staff as far as content goes, and we've been able to provide what we feel is very valuable information regarding various aspects of the real estate cannabis space, whether it be leasing or federal asset forfeiture questions, which are some of the more common questions that we get. That's one of the...
So no Google AdWords pay for campaigns, because Google, like, they don't like cannabis-related situations, obviously.
You know what? I'm just the real estate guy. I got a marketing team behind me that's phenomenal. They're all in that corner over there. So,
No, good for you that you're on the top.
yeah, no, thank you. It's been a very long road, but we're seeing the success now. So, yeah. Anyone else? All right, well, definitely check us out. Thank you guys. www.cannabisrealestateconsultants.com.
I can't overestimate how important real estate is. So the way it works at the state level is first you have to get local authorization. And the way local authorization works is, did you meet 100% of all of our zoning rules, whatever we've decided to deem sensitive use, and in the city of San Diego, just for your knowledge, and dispensaries, that includes churches, youth facilities, parks of any size. You have to be 1,000 feet radius away from all those things in a very specific number of zones. So the eligible buildings that could even apply for this if they wanted to are very, very small. So it's hard. It's hard. And the first thing you have to do to be licensed to the state is be licensed locally. You can't be licensed locally until you've got a building, until you've got your the landowner's permission of that building. And that's been true of every city in this area so far that's put in place regulations. So La Mesa is the same way, Lemon Grove is the same way. The first thing they ask you for is that owner's authorization to do this activity. And even if you meet all the zoning requirements, I found myself explaining this to the city of Chula Vista, Mission Valley area. We've got cannabis regulations here in San Diego in 2014. In Mission Valley, we are still not at the cap of 4 because so few buildings were willing to rent to people for cannabis use in one of the biggest commercial zones in all of San Diego. So for years, we only had one in Mission Valley. That was THC, was the first. So, and then, and that actually wasn't even in the district of Mission Valley, which is District 7. It was in District 3, and that was the only one in District 3 because District 3 just barely extended to the southern edge of Mission Valley. So District 7, we still haven't reached a cap of 4, and that is the greater Mission Valley area, and that's a little ridiculous, and that's because of all the zoning restrictions combined with how hard it is to find a landlord that's willing to let you do this, because back in 2012, the local DA thought it'd be a lot of fun to send asset forfeiture letters to every landlord for every cannabis business in Southern California. It was a really quick way to get rid of every cannabis business in Southern California because landowners didn't want their buildings forfeited. Not a single building was ever forfeited. Okay, so that's very important. The landowners know this. It was a very cheap way. It cost a postage stamp to do the federal government's wish. It was not something that they actually ever cracked down on then, and the rules are much stronger today. So that's what you can say to a landlord who may be curious about whether or not they can rent to you. Okay, our next speaker is the other area that gives every cannabis business person the biggest headache, which is accounting, because it's cash only, and that's hard. So is John Barthel here? Come on up.
You did. You actually got it right. Most people say it wrong. My name is John Barthel, and I'm with Bly CPAs. My partner Tim Lavelle is also here. We are one of the largest cannabis CPA firms in the state of California. We were all individual accountants at the time, and we came together recently to form Bly CPAs. I'm kind of here to talk about taxes. The first one I kind of want to address for you guys is your San Diego city tax. Does anyone know how to pay their San Diego city tax? Has anyone tried yet? Because it's due at the end of the month. So basically the San Diego city tax is 6% on adult use, and that is you're supposed to exclude your excise tax. So that tax will be due at the end of the month, and there's a form that you can fill out. You can go to our website, we have that on there, and that will enable you to pay your city excise tax. Now, has anyone tried to pay their state excise tax? So your state excise tax, it is based on your wholesale price of your product, and so the best way to calculate that is 24% of the wholesale price. So to give you guys an idea how taxed this industry is, $1,000 wholesale purchase price has $240 in tax. Then on top of that, you're going to have your city tax. It's pretty ridiculous. So we have quite a few taxes. I kind of wanted to open this up instead of me just sitting up here talking about taxes, because yes, this industry is taxed to pieces. What questions do you guys have about accounting and taxes in this industry that I can help you answer? Anybody? Go ahead.
So when you go pay $300,000 in taxes, where do I take the cash?
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends on what agency you're paying, okay? So the BOE was taking cash.
Can you repeat his question?
His question was, I need to pay $300,000 in taxes, where do I go pay it? So, yeah, and so it depends on what agency you're paying for what purpose. So the BOE was accepting cash, but the BOE kind of operates like little islands. As a matter of fact, does anyone know the BOE is now called the CDTFA? So they've changed the name, they split it in two, and it was actually because of cannabis that they split it, one of the main reasons, because there was kind of infighting. So there's 6 district offices to the BOE. And so they basically, some will take cash, San Diego was taking cash, and then the head of this district office now doesn't take cash. What's that? No, I mean, you can go get, 300 morning orders, and I've seen people do that, but that's not necessary. The BOE, the CDTFA, will take cash. The EDD, which is your payroll taxes, they will take cash. You have to arrange with them, they actually take it down and they deposit it in the Bank of America. So there's ways to pay all your taxes. The only one that you're not gonna be able to pay in cash is your federal taxes. Your federal taxes have to be paid digitally, and that is the difficulty. And I know a lot of people in this room, we've all heard like the management companies and using that to pay your taxes. And there's some difficulties there. It's very, very difficult. Now, she did mention that we're all cash. Banking is coming online. There's actually a lot of people banked in this industry. All I can say though is if you are planning on wanting to have banking, get your financials in order, because the compliance to actually have banking is substantial. I mean, they want to basically know what ply toilet paper you use, because they're so concerned about the Cole memo the no longer existing Cole memo, and being in compliant, that they want to know every little piece. But I will say that banking's coming on rapidly, and if you are in this industry, just have your financials in order, pay your taxes on time, and you'll be in line to be one of those banked people. Anyone else?
What kind of strategy?
Per gap, it's a cost of goods, if it's a cost of goods or an expense. Now, you obviously want to reduce your expenses, but the idea to look at is also look at what type of entities you're correlating with, and what their kind of deductions and what their fees coming down to you, what kind of structures those would be based in. So
it's different based on this industry compared to something else?
this industry compared to a normal industry, absolutely. You're hammered in this industry. Thankfully, the tax rate was reduced to 21%, which helped us a lot. Basically now, cannabis is taxed like everyone else was last year. So you can, with the proper structuring and the proper advice, and you gotta have the contracts and everything, you can reduce your tax rate to about a 20% impact at the retail. Retail is the absolute worst though, because your bud tenders, your receptionist, your retail floor space, all that's non-deductible. Now, what is deductible, I'll give you one piece, is inventory management. So if you are putting together a retail business, structuring your business and having that inventory management space would be very important. Now, the other thing is though, is having the recordable, audit trail of this is where things are, this is what things are doing. So it's not just, hey, I'm gonna decide it's this, because I can make a cost of goods up right now, You need to have the recorded audit trail showing this is where it goes, this is why the purpose I used it for, because right now in Colorado, they're just eating alive management companies. I mean, they're just collapsing them, putting them together, and determining what it is after you did that. So, I mean, these people that think they're smart, sending money up to a management company and, sending a fee to them, that's done. The IRS is hip to it. You need to be much more structured. The other thing is that intellectual property is deductible. So there are some things in there that you want to look at. We'd be glad to talk to you guys about it. Any other questions?
Is there any delineation between the medical and the recreational at all?
There's not. Well, there's one delineation on the tax piece. Now, everyone knows about the cards that we all have in our pockets that we got from the doctor on our iPhone. That doesn't give you a discount for medical, but there is a state issue card that actually takes away the sales tax. And being a kind of a political organization that we are, it is one piece that I'm disappointed in, because there's a lot of true medical patients that now have this 20% increase in the cost of their medicine. And in my personal opinion, I think the state really shouldn't be taxing the true medical side of this industry at the 24% of wholesale and everything else. So I mean, that's something that I'm personally kind of upset about, because they don't get any deduction other than sales tax, which is what, 7.75%, it's really nothing. Any other questions? All right, thank you for having me, I appreciate you guys.
So that is about it for our program this evening. Does anyone have any announcements they would like to make, sir?
Yeah, my partner Max and I, we went down to New Orleans a couple weeks back to an ASTM International Standards Committee. Anybody, well, I'll say ASTM is the American Standards of Testing and Materials. And their next conference is here in San Diego on, I should have brought this up first, San Diego, June 24th at the Sheraton downtown. You can, if you're involved and want to be involved in how standards are getting created, you can join up ahead of time. You can just come down and participate without joining. So that's coming up in June.
Yeah, and the ASTM just recently started a new subcommittee, D37, which is on creating cannabis standards to help bring good practices and kind of normalize standards throughout the industry, you know, in various states.
Yeah, I guess I didn't say that. So one of the things they're doing is they don't legislate the standards, but once a set of standards is established, then bodies like a state can say, we're just going to adopt these standards, and then that's how it could come into play.
Scott, come back here.
Hi, excuse me. I'm Dave from a company called Duds by Dudes over in Miramar. We do screen printing and embroidery. We do a lot of work for the ACP, but I just want to let you know to piggyback on Dion's Earth Fair thing and to show you what the ACP can do for you, that through them, if you are putting together a booth or you're going to be displaying there, we can provide you any printed materials you need, from shirts to banners to anything you need, and you will get a significant discount. Just mention ACP and we'll take care of it.
That brings up something very important. If you're not a member, you should become a member. There's a lot of membership benefits at ACP. Yeah, besides going to these meetings for free, knowing all the inside information, the connections that you can make as a member up and down the supply chain, knowing who's legal, knowing how to get in touch with them, it's invaluable. We've got a lot of knowledge at the top and the bottom. I've been doing the political side here for a long time. As a member, you can reach out to me about anything you want to know. I do political consulting for this here in San Diego. I'm a registered lobbyist here in San Diego. I also, as someone mentioned, I wrote the rules that are in place today in Lemon Grove and La Mesa. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits. More than anything, it's the supply chain side of things. You'll get discounts with our licensed suppliers. You'll get connections to our licensed dispensaries. The majority of dispensaries in this town are members of ACP. So, you want to get connected. You want to be able to take advantage of the offers and discounts that we have. The discounts at Earth Day. What is the discount for ACP members at Earth Day? 15%?
Yeah, either 10 or 20%.
Okay. Well, we'll have to double check on that. But it is written down somewhere. It's probably in that brochure back there. But you get a substantial discount at every one of our events, every one of our public events and private events. The people that saw the Christmas party that we did, that was quite big, and there was, I think, 15% discount there as well for members. So it pays off, and it pays off quickly. You'll get a discount with all of our member organizations, with our architects, if you're doing an application for a CUP, with our security company. So it pays off. The membership pays itself back. So I got Chris, our president, in the back.
I've been blessed to have one of the city's approved manufacturing facilities and also a temporary state license holder. So if anybody has a product brand and they haven't found a home, we are looking to bring some folks in. If you're creating tinctures or topicals or vape pens, see me and we can talk about that.
Okay.
Hi guys, my name is Chloe. I'm really excited to be hosting an educational cannabis dinner. I'm a member of the ACP as well, and it'll be this upcoming Friday in a private location in the Hillcrest area. I have flyers if you want to take these away, in collaboration with the first High Times Cannabis Cup top chef, Brandon Allen, who's actually local to San Diego as well.
Real quick to add to that, so I love the political aspect of everything you're doing. My focus is on education, and I think the best way we're going to normalize this plant is by normalizing it. So I'm doing that with food, and basically utilizing food as the vessel to educate people on flower, and flower the vessel to educate people on food and nutrition, the amazing synergy between everything you put in your mouth, including the smoke and the vapor. So if you're curious about the real science about the endocannabinoid system, terpenes, various cannabinoids, and what I'm calling the true entourage effect, which is incorporating supplementation of cannabis with diet together to enhance your endocannabinoid system, this will be a great dinner for you. So,
And I had the opportunity to attend one of his dinners, and it was, as long as I've been cultivating and extracting, I learned a lot about the ECS. And just as informative as he was, and how the whole setting was comfortable, it's something you don't want to miss. It's really cool.
So you guys are a business that does that, or is this just a function that you're doing?
It's a function and business. Let's put it this way. It's a business.
Are you more of an event type thing, doing these dinners?
So I'm a educator.
Yeah, and then I'm a
Food's
student
the best.
of Oriental medicine, soon to be acupuncturist as well. So.
Yeah, we'll talk, for sure.
Go look at you, Joe. Yes, you're first,
Hello, everybody. My name is Dan, and I did want to piggyback. I've been to one of their events, really excellent food, good ambiance, learned a lot. I really like what these guys are doing. I'm an organizer for Can I Talk? We're a business-to-business nonprofit educational entity. We have a monthly education event, and I wanted to say it's February 26th. It's this Monday. You can find information on our group on facebook.com/canitalk or on meetup.com/canitalk, CANNITALK. This Monday we actually have a sexologist, Dr. Nick Karras, coming and talking about utilizing cannabis for sexual dysfunction. And then we have a speaker talking about social media and cannabis companies, and then visual media and cannabis companies. So a couple interesting topics. Otherwise, if you have any questions, I'll be here. Thank you.
Tomorrow night, there's a governor's forum at Jacobs Hall. Is anyone from ACP going? Are there tickets left? I know you have to be there by 4, it starts at 5. You know, can you fill us in on that a little bit?
Oh, I should be able to fill you in on that. And yet, it's happening at the Jacobs Center. It starts at 5 p.m. As you said, you need to be there by 4. There's a lot of security. It's all of the Democratic candidates for governor. It's a good chance to get in front of them, ask your cannabis questions. They've all indicated that they're fairly positive, so we just got to hold their feet to the fire. It's Gavin Newsom, Antonio Villaraigosa, John Chang, and Delane. What's the Delane's last name?
We don't know the last name.
It's
Easton. I was going to say that, but I didn't want it to come out wrong.
But it may be sold out, so check ahead.
Yes, and it may already be sold out, but it's
SDDemocrats.org.
yes, it's at sddemocrats.org. It's tomorrow night at 5 p.m. and hopefully they'll be asked at least a few questions about cannabis. But from all of our outreach to them, it sounds like we're in a fairly good spot, no matter who gets there.
Just another thing about Cannabis Village, that we're going to have again a VIP section, and we're going to have early tickets for that, $50. You get a T-shirt, a poster, goodie bag, food all day, and drinks and stuff. And so that's I wanted to mention that, so look out for that. And the other thing I wanted to mention is I also work with Sensi Magazine. It's a national brand that's come here to San Diego and several markets. And we're having our first party next month, March 16th, at the Lafayette Hotel. And it's free to everybody. You just have to sign up. And there's booths available for people if they want to be involved in it.
Okay, sounds great. Anyone else? Anybody at all? Okay. Oh, one more.
Hi, my name's Ferrari Watts. I own Basics Mobile Solutions. We're a marketing company specializing in cannabis companies. I'm a member of ACP, a business member, just joined beginning of this month. If you have any questions about marketing, feel free to talk to me. I'm giving ACP discounts for members as well. Thanks.
Well, no one else has anything to say. We'll let you know the time and the date of our next public forum coming up. Yeah?
Hi, Darren Semerell. I just wanted to mention that we are doing a Matterport video footage of all the commercial properties and residential properties as well. But we go in for all the cannabis-related commercial properties, and we do a full virtual reality tour of the commercial property. So even if you can't show it to an investor who might be thousands of miles away, they could actually go online and just see the tour and literally walk through step by step of the whole commercial facility. And we've done several of them up and down the California coast right now, and they're a big hit. So you could even take the virtual reality goggles, put them on your head, and actually walk into the place like you're in there yourself, and just walk through the whole commercial property. So it definitely helps sell the property for you. So if you guys are interested at all, just let me know.
Chris again.
We have Jason Klein here. He offers cannabis real estate as well. So if anybody's looking for any licensed properties or facilities around the state, see Jason.
Okay, well, look, I think that sounds like it is a meeting, so, yeah, the public meeting is ended, and, yeah. Thank you, everybody.